Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Check this out. So I got this little piece made. Quite intricate little piece. Oh my goodness, but it took me forever. Because I got to rebuild this corner. It was all rusted out. I was able to save this so I didn't have to form all that, which makes it easier, but still quite a bit of little tinkering around on this. Probably got darn close to an hour in fitting this. But I got it. I got it so it'll fit in there right. So now I'm going to spray all the backs of these with the primer, and then I think I'll start welding them in. Yeah, that'd be exciting. Start getting rid of some of the Swiss cheese today. Got the battery box slash body mount welded in pretty nice. I got her painted up, and I got to mount this somehow. So I've noticed that when I pick up on it, it does deflect, and because the body was sagging, it was making the door rub, the fender, because it makes the whole front of the car pitch down. So I don't happen to have the right body mount, and I looked on the other side, and it's just one hard rubber sandwiched in between the box and this mount. But what I do have is this hockey puck. So I'm gonna drill a hole in it. We're gonna use that for a body mount. Then I'm gonna jack up on this a little bit, not enough to drop the car off the scissor lift with any luck, and see if I can't get it squared up, and I'll lift these up and tighten up bolts. Hopefully that's where she'll stay and the door will work again. Okay, so I carefully jacked this up, and then I got under here with this bar and I pried it up, and I went up pretty much that whole distance right there, that whole, you can see where it's shiny. And I got my little hockey puck stuck in there and bolted in, tightened up the bolt, and it's giving me a gap. Now that was tight before, but now I got a little slight gap, and I think that's enough. Because even if it touches a little bit now, which I hope it doesn't, but I'm going to try to move that fender ahead a little bit more. I think I can spring a little bit more out of it. Once the car is sitting down on its wheels, that gap's going to open some more anyway, pretty sure. So I got this patch pretty much welded on. I still got to grind off the edges. This is sub, so it is going to get a bit of diamond glass filler in there just to fill it out. I got to grind this off. Luckily I caught it in time. I didn't have to reconstruct all those edges and things like that, but I did have to form this, which was tough, and there's going to be a lot more shaping, a little bit more with the putty to get that to work and get it so it looks good when I put the chrome strip on. I also have over here, holes there, I got to finish welding that, finish welding this, finish that. I got it stuck in there, and these all look pretty good. They're pretty nice and flush. This one also is sub, which means there's going to be a lap joint in there, but I sprayed it with some of that copper weld through. So there are sprayed joints. They aren't just bare. And a couple little holes, I welded them shut. I'll grind them off clean. I got to finish that, and I got to fill that. So there's quite a bit to do today. I'm going to see how far I can get. I'm going to get these done, get them all welded up all the way around the circumference of them solid. And then I'm going to jump up here. I'm going to set the car down. I got it on a scissor lift, which is really handy. I bought it used, got a pretty decent deal on it. It's good for 6,000 pounds. This car is testing it because this car is probably, I don't know, 4,500 pounds. So it's got a little leeway left. But it's a snap-on scissor lift under there. I'm gonna set it down so I can reach this stuff and get these patches welded in. You can see where I got it sprayed with copper weld through. Oh, can't forget this patch. I gotta put that in. So there's gonna be some sanding and grinding and puttying and all that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, I guess I'll start welding. Okay, what I got right here is where I got a little boo-boo. I didn't quite get it quite right. So now what am I gonna do? Well, I'm not tearing the whole thing back out. I obviously knew this was gonna happen anyway. I didn't want to make a whole new piece. So I'm just gonna take a sliver. We're gonna weld that in there, and I'm gonna weld it up, and hopefully it comes out pretty nice, but we'll see. I think it'll be good enough. It may not be perfect. Somebody may be able to pick at something here and there. Better get my gloves on or I'm gonna burn my little hands. I should have ground that paint cleaner. Ooh, look at that. I just bent it right in there. That's going to work out nice, I think. Now I'm going from this bigger piece of steel and then I drag the weld over into it because I'm afraid of just burning it up. So I got that stuck there. I'm just gonna keep welding other stuff now. Just keep welding and working my way around the whole thing, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Well, I picked the wrong shirt for today. Check this out. Those little tiny sparks, they just melt holes in it. Then they get through and they start burning my skin too. That's fun. But even my dungaree shirt, it's like a light blue jean, burning holes, getting holes in it. There's holes everywhere. Both arms, my sleeves. So, looks like it's time to get out the old welding jacket. I just wish I had something a little lighter. This thing, it weighs a ton, and it's just, I mean, it's thick. You could, I mean, it ain't gonna burn through that, but kind of heavy. All right, so I got it pretty much welded up. It doesn't look too bad. This one's not bad. I gotta grind it off the rest of the way. I already ground it some, and then welded it again. And I welded that all in. I got this patch welded in. This one don't look so great. This one's another, it was a lap. Of course, so was that one on top. But there's a whole bunch of places I just got to get that better. I got to weld it in better. But I think I got to grind it off first because I'm not able, it's hard to weld once you get everything all uneven and beads of weld going everywhere. But you can see it's very porous. So I got to grind that off, and I'm just going to go back to welding some more. I know what you're thinking. Johnny, why are you using this rigid wheel? Well, you know what? I just wanted to take off the high points at all the weld. Let me show you. As I'm welding, there's high points, and I was only grinding right on the bead itself. So you'll notice that, I mean, I hit in some places a little bit, but I don't want to take all that material off, you know what I mean? I don't want to have a flappy disc just in there flopping around taking more material than I need to. I use a rigid grinder and clean it up with that, and I think that's going to work out okay. Now, when I'm ready to prep it for putty, I'm going to clean that all up with one of the floppy discs, like this one right here. I got a bunch of them. I haven't bought them in so long, I don't remember what size they are. This one here, which is a 7.5, and this one really goes quite quick. You gotta be careful, you know, you don't want to take the whole car away or nothing, but you know what, grinding on this steel and getting this flushed out, it does take a lot of grinding, and you really don't run too much danger, I think, of taking away excessive material. If I had it to do over, and if on the next project, I think I might have just cut this whole thing right out. I don't want to have to do all that extra work, but you know what, this is a lot of work too, and this amount of weld, if I were to measure this out, it's like 2.5 inches, so that's 5 inches. And this is about 4 inches, so that's 8 inches. And 8 and 5 is 13 inches. Heck, that's a weld that'll go all the way across here. This might be false economy doing small patches, but somebody with more experience, somebody a little bit more clever, I'm sure would know the difference. Go ahead and comment. I'd love to hear what you think. Rookie mistake 714. Instead of cleaning this up all the way up to here, now that I'm grinding things off smooth and trying to get things smoothened out, I got this patch smooth pretty decent. I mean, that'll putty out pretty good, I think. This rear quarter had been damaged before. So now I'm into a big pile of putty. Underneath the putty is some holes and whatnot, I guess, wherever they came from. So this looks pretty good too. This patch came out pretty nice, but now I got this mess here I got to deal with. So I guess I'll grind that off. Meanwhile, up here, pretty much the same kind of thing, but Not too bad. I got this looking fairly decent. It looks like something I can get some Dynaglass on. And I'm gonna start grinding this off. And I think this patch is gonna come out real nice. It won't need a whole lot of filler at all. So I think we're doing okay. I mean, it's just, when you don't do this every day, which I don't, you do run into stuff. So I'm gonna take the grinder, I'm gonna grind all this out and see what it is back there. Looks like dings in low spot from being hit or something. I don't think it's rust repair. I think it's an actual dent from damage. And this all comes out, if we look right straight down this, I could do it with this straight edge. See that gap there? That is gonna be putty. I'll probably just go to there. But that's about, it's an 1/8 inch, a little more than an 1/8 inch. And that's just gonna get a smooth coating of putty all the way across it, all the way down there. I'd like to do it in one shot like Bad Chad does, but I'm probably not that talented. I guess what I'll do is get this cleaned up and go from there. I hate these dust masks, but I gotta wear it for this because there's gonna be so much powdery dust in the air. There's just no way I should not have a dust mask on. Of course, it's gonna fog my glasses up, I won't be able to see, but. This big grinder really takes the material off. When you're grinding metal, you gotta make sure you don't get stuff too hot. It almost gets as hot as welding with this thing. See, here's more of those holes popping up. Used to be, I remember reading in a bodywork book back when I was a kid, that was like 138 years ago. They would drill holes, you drill holes so you could pop a dent with a slide hammer, drill the holes, you grind it off, you leave the holes because it gives the putty something to adhere to. It actually smooths back into the holes and bite. It's like another attachment kind of thing. Looks like holes up here, I don't know. I think a good coarse grind gives you all the attachment you need. This is a 36 grit disc on this thing. Alrighty, that took all that powdery dust off there. Even with the mask on, it ain't great. But that is exactly what they did. If you look at this thing, there's a dent. I can show you the dent again with the straight edge. Yeah, see that? Dent. And it was probably a lot worse. They drilled a bunch of holes. They used a slide hammer, yanked it out, and then left the holes and filled them with putty. And they really didn't do a heck of a good job pulling that out. I'm gonna pull out a little more. I guess I could just cut this thing out and put a whole piece in here. Oh, maybe that is what I'll do. I don't know, I gotta think about it. Half my time is spent waffling and making up my mind. Anyway, I'm gonna use this regular metal cutting grinder disc just to take down the high ridge of weld. And then after that, I'll go back to the floppy disc. Either the big one or the little one, whichever one I can grab quickest probably. Looks like it's time to change this disc. You know, it's funny, the disc goes all the way to the center. It's all nice grit. Out to the outside edge, it's really kind of wore down. That's where all the cutting happens. I try to cut down here sometimes, and sometimes you can get so you're using that up a little bit, but generally once this outer edge is gone, I got a new aggressive disc on there. Let's see what that does. if my weld was a little better, this whole thing would disappear. All right, I think that's gonna do. Got this pretty decent. I mean, it's obviously not perfect. Little low spot in my weld, so that'll get filled. Really feels nice. It does seem good. That's a little low spot in the weld too. So I can't have high spots because once I putty it, I'm gonna put one nice little smear of putty on there, and then we'll sand it off nice and smooth, and that'll be that. So since this patch was sub, which means that the actual patch is below the actual body line of the car, I had to get in here. I couldn't get in there with the wheel, so I got in there with my flexible wire wheel. You know, I couldn't get in with the flappy. I couldn't get in there with nothing that was really getting in there good. So I wanted to get it good, so that's what I did. I cleaned it up. I don't like the way it polishes a little bit, but I think that putty's still gonna grip like crazy, so. Now, I made a decision on this back quarter, and yeah, it's a dent, and yeah, it's got pocky holes all over the place. You can see what they did originally. See if you can see in there. Oh, little dots of putty. That came through those holes, and that gave it a little extra bite. And I suppose that does work that way. I don't think it's the approved method anymore. But you know what? I didn't know this was here. I didn't know it was here at all. And that patch has probably been there for, well, I don't know, was the last time this was on the road? Oh, 99. So that's 23 years ago. This could have happened 10 years before that. I'm not gonna cut that all out and put a piece of steel in there, which is gonna require putty anyway. It's just gonna take me an extra 2 hours or an hour and a half. That's gonna get re-puttied. I know, don't hate me, but putty's plastic, man. It doesn't even rot. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. Well, as I just smear some putty on here, this front part, I just put a real nice thin coat on. That was really easy to do. This one a little bit harder because I have to, you know, I had to kind of glide it on and fill it. Now I'm gonna go over it with a coat of regular. This is the Dynaglass, which has got the fiberglass reinforced stuff. Then I'm gonna go over it with just some lightweight filler and just smear that over top so I have enough there so when I sand it once, I'll be good. Because I've always put it on, kind of sanded it smooth, and then, oh, there's a low spot, I gotta add some more filler. Oh, another low spot, add more filler. And I was watching Bad Chad. Bad Chad just says, put it all on, make sure you got enough putty on there so when you sand it off once you're done. And you know, that makes a lot of sense. So that's what I'm gonna try on this one. So I got it back here too, and as I'm walking up to the car, you can probably see that's still dented here. You can see it's caved in, so I'm gonna fill that out. I'm gonna have to add a little filler. I'm looking at the screen on the camera. It's not as bad as that, but it is pretty bad. Oh, Connor's home from work. He had mice in his truck and they put mouse poison in his boots. But that's what they do. That's why I like the pelleted poison. I mean, it's not great if you got pets because they're liable to get into it. You gotta be careful where you put it. But the mice get into that poison and then they take it back to the nest. Good. I didn't film any of the puttying because honestly, if you want to learn how to do it from watching somebody on YouTube, you probably had to watch Bad Chad or somebody like that because I'm no pro at it. But I got it on there and I'm going to try his method and sand the whole thing off all at once and roll that way. I'll probably do that tomorrow, I think. Boy, that was a quick day, wasn't it, Connor? We had a quick day.
I had a quick day.
You had a quick day?
Yeah, I did.
That's good. That's because you love your job. When you like your job, you have a quick day.
Spent all day working on a kitchen sink. I mean, practically. But it was everything. It was all plumbing. New plumbing. So.
Yep. It all takes time. Like today flew by. I did that welding. Actually, today is just this video. That's what I got done. I got to that stage of the putty. So anyway, if you were one of the brave few that tripped over Tagman channel and you suck around to this point, I hope you had a great day like I did and Connor did. And like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.